Welcome to Reality Tea Times 2, a podcast where we discuss all the trash reality TV we love to hate. I'm Tanika, and today we're going to be discussing 90 Day Diaries. So, because 90 Day Diaries are usually shorter episodes, we are going to do some hot goss this episode. Also, just have, quick announcement that's been kind of the running theme for this week. So, I have watched The Bachelor, and you'll probably get it after this episode. And I did not realize that they're going to be doing 2 nights this week. Fuck this. I'm kind of pissed with what was planned for this. So because we're doing 2 episodes with Bachelor this week, that means that Married at First Sight is going to get pushed back to a bonus episode for next week. Only I can't imagine we'll need to do that again. We'll see how it is with Love is Blind, but that will be getting pushed back to a bonus episode, which is unfortunate with what happens at the end of the episode, but can't do it all. Fortunately with Love is Blind, we definitely get really dumped on, and because do you want to try to get those done before the next batch of eps come out. I do want to put the focus on that, so that is what's going to be happening. Next thing, Below Deck. I did not realize that Below Deck did not record when it was on a Monday. Came to my attention yesterday. So that means that this week's Below Deck will not be covered. So we'll see for next week. I will be watching the first episode, but it probably won't be until late next week, along with the second episode. So I'm going to just say, especially with Love is Blind as well, we will not be covering the next 2 episodes of Below Deck. Definitely won't be. And we'll see how it is with the third episode. And also where we're at with Love is Blind. I believe we're getting 3 to 4 episodes the following week with Love is Blind. So there's a possibility that Below Deck will just not be covered for maybe the month. And we'll leave it at that. If I have any thoughts or feelings about anything, I might tie it to another episode very quick, but there won't be any episodes. So we'll just say blanket, no Below Deck this month for the first 4 episodes, no Below Deck. So with that, just going to reiterate, we are on break with 90 Day OG and Love in Translation. So there won't be any coverage of those shows, but you will be getting double Bachelor next week, as well as Single Life, Diaries, Single Life, Diaries, Maths, Love is Blind. That's it. So that is what we will do. And this is kind of up in the air, kind of just thinking about it now. I might combine Single Life and Diaries into one episode. That is to be determined next week, though. Just because, this is a little easier. We can kind of maybe do it more of like a hot goss type feel with Diaries. So we can do it like that. And just to kind of ease up a little bit with the note taking, that's the biggest thing. So that's what will be happening. So with that, let's hop into some hot goss. So Rishi of Jen and Rishi has gotten married not long after he announced that he was even engaged. He got married to someone by the name of Maria Ramirez. And and they had their multi-day Indian wedding ceremony. And yeah, it seemed like it was great. I have some photos of, well, kind of more like just like a photo of her. I don't know if anyone's seen pictures of her. She's very cute. But they're happy. Whatever. That's great. Um, Seemed fast, but maybe it just wasn't, and because he just wasn't announcing anything. But pretty sure him and Jen announced their breakup officially in like, was it September, October? So I think this is kind of done a little quick, but whatever. Congratulations to Rishi. He's found his wife, and hopefully all is well. And she has no issues living in the family home. So that's kind of that. Next thing, Nick Viall of the Bachelor franchise, who was on 2 seasons of Bachelorette, had his own season. It was on Bachelor in Paradise, has his podcast, Files, he's doing the damn thing. He has had a baby with his fiancee, Natalie Joy, and it's their first child together. It's a girl. Her name is River Rose Viall. Kind of like that name, actually. She was born on February 2nd, so she was born on Groundhog Day. So they said on their Instagram, in a joint Instagram post, that they named her after Natalie's great grandmother and niece. And they continued by saying that the best part of life starts now. And that's basically it. That's all I have on Hot Goss for this episode. I do have something else for you guys in the Bachelor episode, since it's kind of a little more fitting with that. But with that being said, let's hop into the reason that we are here. 90 Day Diaries, Season 5, Episode 5, S.O.S. So if you need me, darling, don't you hear me? S.O.S. Okay. Yes, I am going to be singing every single song that it happens because it's ABBA. Come on now. Anyways. So first we see Jovi and Yara. It's been a minute since we've seen them. I saw them on Last Resort. And yeah, they're at the zoo. Yara tells with Mila. Yara tells Mila that her favorite animal is a flamingo, and all I could think about was the mom and daughter and smothered who have to use the flamingos to walk like a flamingo. Oh god. Anyway, so they mentioned that they've continued therapy with Dr. Jason Prendergast, who was on The Last Resort, which is great. It's great that they connected with him and they've continued on with him. So a few days later, they're actually going to be doing a session with Dr. Jason. And I guess the major thing that they're talking about right now is the move. They want to finally agree on that. The problem is whenever Jovi decides to actually bring it up, which is interesting that he's the one who has to bring up the move when Yara's the one who doesn't want to live in Louisiana anymore. Anyways, anytime he tries to bring it up, it just becomes an argument. I guess maybe he's being pushy about it, but again, he's being pushy about it because you want to move and nothing's happening. But I guess you'll kind of make comments like, well, if you're so eager, then you'd figure it out or whatever. So they've mentioned that their top choices for places that they want to live is either Dallas or Miami. Spoiler alert, they have moved to Miami. So Jovi mentions like the reason that he maybe is pushy about the move is because he wants to ensure Yara's happiness. But then Yara can't just take that, because I would take that as a yay. But she can't just take that and be happy with it. She has to literally be like, you want to move too. Don't just make it about me. And that's great here is that Jason's like, okay, can he be, happy about the move and wanting to do the move, but also wanting to do it for your happiness? And she's like, yes, that's fine. And see, that's the thing. Yes, but I think like she's so concerned with the fact that maybe she feels like he might resent her because she's making him move. I don't know. But the fact that he is pushing about the move when it's something you want to do, but nothing's happening from it, then we don't need to do this back and forth thing of, well, he's doing it for himself too. So anyway, Jovi says that he wants to ideally be moved in to a new place in 6 months. So let's get on it. And Jovi does say the biggest problem here is telling my mom that we want to move. Because if you remember, it's been a little while since we've seen them on Happily Ever Afters, because I guess about a year now, because we're coming up to that soon. If you remember, when this was first brought up, Mama Gwen said she was unhappy with the idea of them moving because her and her husband, his stepfather, had just moved closer to them. So again, if you remember, they lived some hours away or whatever. I can't remember if it was like an hour or an hour and 45 minutes. I can't remember now, but they're pretty far away. And they moved closer and actually built a home on a property closer to them. And now they're talking about moving to a completely different state. So that's Jovi's main concern now, is his mother's reaction to them moving. So they're going to go out to dinner. And Mama Gran shows up, all's good. And then he drops the bomb of, okay, so we're going to be moving. And Mama Gwen is like, this is stupid. We move closer to you guys, which mentioned. And, I guess you're going to have to learn, blah, blah. And here's the thing. It wasn't like Jovi and Yara said to Mama Gwen, please move closer to us and whatever. They didn't. Mama Gwen and her husband made that decision on their own to move closer to them, not knowing what decisions they were going to make. And the thing is like Mama Gwen kind of guilt trips him here and be like, we left our home that we had for 25 years so we can move closer to you guys. And it's like, wait, you guys, from my understanding, made that decision on your own. They did not ask you to do that. So you cannot then guilt trip them into staying in a state that they're maybe not happy in. Obviously, Jovi says he's never pictured moving out of state, being far from his family. He's never pictured doing anything like that. But here we are. And, obviously they say you can come see Mila anytime you want, whatever. But you can't guilt trip them into staying. They got to do their own thing. And they say, listen, if we hate it, then we'll come back. But they're going to do this, and I bet they're going to give it a lot of try, a lot of effort into making it work, and they're doing it. They're doing it now. I think they've moved out now for like the last couple of months or so. So, you can't guilt trip them into a decision that you made without talking to them about it. Of course, they'll take the help and they'll accept it. They're not going to say, oh, no, don't do it. They're not going to say that, but they are going to make that decision. But that's basically it for Jovi and Yara. Not a whole lot. Let's talk about Cortney. Oh God, Cortney. So she is packing baby powder in a Ziploc bag and realizes that this kind of looks like I'm going to have a lot of fun in Malaysia. And I'm just like, so then why couldn't you get like one of those travel size powders and put them in there, or get like a container or something that you can put that in instead of putting it in a Ziploc bag. So she apparently is only planning to pack all of her stuff in this like one bag. And I'm like, are you nuts? You're going to be there for like, I think she was planning a month. You've booked a one-way ticket home to Malaysia. So, I mean, I don't know. Nonetheless, we are told here that Mustafa wants her to stay at his place for at least a month. So that's what they're going to be doing. Or are they? We'll see if you didn't watch the episode. So he will say kind of stuff like to her, the kind of like, oh, what if I propose when you're here? And all of this. And it's obviously getting her hopes up because that's what she wants. Way too much, by the way. I love Cortney. She's hilarious, but I am her age, and life is too fucking short to be chasing after a man, chasing after a marriage, chasing after children, chasing after all of them. It's way too short. And I feel like her only goal in life is to find a man. And it's just, we're too good for that. Women, we're too good for that. And no. But anyways, enough of that. Let's have fun. So she lands. And guess what, guys? Mustafa is not even in Malaysia. He is still in Pakistan with his family. He was supposed to be here prior to her landing. But yeah. So she's going to be staying at his place. I guess there's like a key or something. She's going to be at his place waiting for him to show up. So we see 2 days later, she's still alone. Mustafa hasn't shown up. She's homesick. She's crying. She's regretting a lot of things at the moment. But you know what? She's going to pick herself up and she's going to go sightseeing by herself. So then we see later that week, he had only gotten there 4 days before. I think she landed on a Wednesday and he showed up on a Saturday night. So he left her alone. He left this complete stranger alone in his house. And he does, like, you couldn't plan better? Like, do you talk? If you're supposed to be back at a certain time, then make sure that he was back before you left. Do you know what I mean? Or stick to the fucking plan, because obviously she has to book her ticket for a certain time. So I don't know. It's hot mess express. Anyway, he bought her a magnet from Pakistan. Thanks. Anyway, now that he is back, he's still kind of ignoring her, she says, not spending time with her. So we see her kind of like telling us that, oh, like the bells are ringing and like prayer time and whatever the case is. And she's like, yeah, it wakes me up in the morning. But the biggest thing here that I wanted to say is, like, I forget what she's like around men, like, for a longer period of time. I forget how she is because it's been so long since we've seen her with Antonio, but I don't remember her acting so fucking fake with men. Like, she just kind of is like, and it's like, it's not cute. Be yourself. And I feel like she doesn't. She has, which I think like all women do to a certain extent. We kind of are like, oh my God. Oh my God, I know. Like, we don't, like, it's just, but it comes to a point where you stop doing that. And from my understanding is that she's quote unquote known this guy for some time and she's still acting the same way that she probably did before. And that's irritating and that's annoying. And you get, especially at this point in life when you're older, you don't fucking have time for this shit. And I'm not condoning his behavior because I think he's an asshole, but I think like it's just that might irritate people. I don't know. Maybe someone out there kind of likes it, but it's not something long term. It's annoying. So they're gonna go sit down because they're gonna talk. And she feels like this is like the first day that they're actually engaging with each other. She's like, you used to be so romantic before, you got me flowers on the first day. And I was like, wait, you're basing the fact that he bought you flowers on the first day that you met, and you're basing it like that was him being romantic? No, bitch. He's trying to get in your pants. He's trying to get in your pants. He is trying, he's putting his best foot forward, which again, we all do. He's trying to put his best foot forward, just sweep you off your fucking feet into his bed instead. Like, and when I hear her talking, I'm just like, okay, he's literally trying to impress you, but he's faking his way through it. So, yeah. She just wants to make sure that they were on the same page. She wants someone who has time for her. And he says he does have time for her, but he can't give you 16 hours a day. And the thing is, it's like, I know I referred to him as being an asshole earlier, which I do think he is, but I think he's correct. She wants some guy who is going to give her 16-hour days. That's not realistic. Be happy if you get like 2 consecutive hours a day. That's amazing. But again, the idea of having a man up my ass all the time like that, it feels suffocating. I would not like that. I want a person who can do their own thing and be happy, and then I can do my own thing and be happy, and maybe we'll I want a cat. Basically, that's what I want, a cat in a partner. I want you to, be able to go off and do your own thing, but then at the same time, you come and you give me love, like an hour a day, maybe 2. That's my ideal type of relationship, but I think that's maybe what he wants to. But Cortney is a golden retriever, and she needs love all the time. So she's like, he just doesn't see my perspective. No, I don't think you see his perspective, or really any man's perspective. And she's like, you've changed, Mustafa. And he's like, well, people change. And she's like, I don't like it. But that's exactly it. Cortney, you're stuck in like 18, 19, 20 when you're 32. And people do change. You're ever like evolving, always evolving. Who I was at 20 is not who I am at 32. I don't know that girl. And I would also think by the time I'm like 42, I'm going to say, I don't know who that girl was at 30. We're always changing. The problem is, I don't think Cortney is. I think, unfortunately, Cortney's an only child who's been doted on her entire life. And she does have that only child syndrome. It's funny. I actually see a lot of similarities with a lawyer that I used to work with who was also an only child and had kind of the same qualities as Cortney. And I'm just like, yeah. But nonetheless, let's move on. So the next thing we see, she has left Mustafa's place and she's now at a hotel. She didn't actually see him. She just packed up her shit, texted him, and said bye-bye and went about her life. But, she's gone back on the apps. She says, I definitely rebound quick because I don't have time to waste. And she's now connected with this other guy named Elvis, who she's going to go on a date with. And she's like, she says that he fixes cars, and her dad actually used to fix cars too as a profession. And she says, it's really hard to find guys who fix things. Wait. And again, girl, strive higher, because it's just like, I mean, I'm not saying I'm a handy person. I am not. I'm not. I can do a few things here and there and whatever and take care of myself, but I am not handy. But I also don't expect necessarily my man to be handy or, whatever. I don't like this gender thing where it's like, he does the handiwork and the outdoor stuff while I clean and cook and take care of them babies. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what she wants. And I think it's kind of gross. But again, if that's what she wants, by all means. But I feel like, again, just strive, strive higher. So they are going to be going to this cave. Has like these colorful stairs, and it's very cool actually. She's like, so when Elvis gets there, she's like, let's go run to the birds, see if they fly away. And she runs to the birds. They don't fly away, but then eventually they do fly away. And she's like, oh my God, why are you bothering the birds? Why are you bothering them? They're not bothering you. Why are you bothering them? Leave them alone. They're there doing their own thing. You could have avoided them. Let them sit there and do whatever the fuck they were doing. Leave them alone. I'm so confused. I can't. Anyways, um, so they do the cave thing. Cool. And then a monkey tries to steal her. No, actually, doesn't try. Does steal her water bottle. And then another monkey is trying to steal her hand sanitizer on her purse. Like she has like the outside carry sanitizer thing on her purse, and they're trying to steal it, but unsuccessful with the hand sanitizer. But she's like, oh my God, I gotta go. Which, listen, once a monkey is trying to steal my shit, I'm also going. So then they kind of sit down and they talk about, what he kind of wants. We know what she wants. But he does kind of he does say he wants to get married. He wants to have kids. And she's like, oh, he's being so nice to me. I love him. Let's get married. I'm like, Cortney, again, too soon. But anyways, that's it for Cortney. So Ben and Mahogany is here. I'm so excited to talk about these two people because, my God, their first season. Again, never talked about it, obviously, because we weren't podcasting at the time, but there is no way in fucking hell these people actually worked out. What the? First, she was a catfish, y'all, okay? She had to have been fake. Then she shows up and she's real, like Maria level real. And it's just like, whoa, okay. And then, like, it was just so weird. She lived in an Airbnb with bunk beds and stuff. And it was just so weird. And the runaway train, the whole thing, so weird. And now this guy's acting like he doesn't have fucking money, but didn't he start a business or something? Could have some sort of like multi-level type business thing, but didn't he create something? And now he's out here being, because no one's buying the Colts. But I'm just like, what is happening? And he looks rough. He needs to stop giving his plasma. I think he needs it more than everyone else does right now. Anyway, let's get into it. So he's at the blood bank and he's selling us. He needs money. And like I said, he looks rough. So he says that, they got engaged, which is, I think a lot of us know. And then they got married a few months ago. I did not know that they were married. That is insanity. They had a civil ceremony, but they are going to be doing a religious ceremony soon because they're both religious, if I remember. Like, he literally was raised in a religious cult, if you remember that too. So he says money has been a really big struggle at the moment. That's why he's at the blood bank giving his plasma. He says that he hasn't been able to do the visa because he doesn't have an income. And it was either they did the visa or he travels to Peru. So he opted to travel to Peru. So 12 hours later, I think he's in Peru or on the way to Peru. I don't know. And he's like, they're meeting at a park. Fitting. Because if it's a park, or maybe it's a dock, or maybe it's a restaurant, like they're never meeting in a home. It's so weird. Anyway, meeting at a park. She's not there when he's there. He's like, no surprise. Yeah, because that's the running theme with this girl. She doesn't show up when she's supposed to. Anyway, he does eventually see her. He's like, there she is. And he's like running to her. And my girl's just standing there, not even running to him. Nothing. Are you excited to see him? So the next day, they're kind of talking about the wedding, the religious wedding plans. The wedding is going to be expensive and he doesn't have money. And he tells her that, he could not do the spousal visa. So I guess he hasn't actually told her that he couldn't do it before now, which obviously it's like, okay, so we're going to continue this long. Here's my thing. Forget the religious ceremony. You already got married in Peru. Why not do the spousal visa and get her to the States and then do a religious ceremony in the States with your family? Because I don't know if he had any family at the civil ceremony in Peru, but then you could have just do the religious ceremony in the States. I'm so confused. Priorities, man. So she basically said, well, you better put the work in. And, she's like, what if I don't want to anymore? And he says, listen, I don't want to make you feel bad. I'm not going to make you feel bad. I had to give blood to make enough money to come to Peru. And I'm just like, it was making her feel bad. Ultimately is going to make her feel bad. But nonetheless, something tells me we're going to see them again. But that's it for now with Ben and Mahogany. Let's go to Fernanda. That's our last person. Again, not a lot here that I feel like needed its own episode or just for them to be on the episode. Just not a lot here. She, as we know, she got her travel papers before because she's been to Mexico already, but they're in Mexico now. What's his name again? Nicola? No, that's not right. Noel. Noel is with her this time because he wasn't with her before. I think he had a fight or something, so he wasn't with her. But apparently they're struggling at the moment. Something about like their communication or better yet, him not being maybe as affectionate as she would want him to be with her. And yeah, something like that. Like she's more passionate person. Latinas are more passionate, whereas he's maybe a little more like what you see is kind of what you get situation. Again, he's European. European men are a little more stone cold. Have you met Andre? But nonetheless, like they're not agreeing with this. Apparently, they've had conversations like this before. Nothing seems to change. She does eventually have a conversation with him about it. And, I guess that's the tone of the conversation was kind of like him saying, well, this kind of sounds like a breakup. And she's like, is that what you want? You want to break up? And he's like, no, but I'm saying it sounds that way. But nonetheless, he has to go to a fight in Saudi Arabia when she was actually supposed to go and she's not going now. And then he's going to go to Germany to see his family. So that's what he's going to do. They're going to take a few weeks to be apart and let themselves think. Ultimately, he was gone for 3 weeks and he came back and they're fine. They're back. They're still together. They're thriving. That's basically it. There was not a lot with Fernanda. I love to see her. I'm happy she's with her family. That's very important to her. But otherwise, nothing else to contribute. But that is it for 90 Day Diaries. I I promise Bachelor is going to be so much more fun. I'm so excited. But that's it for now. So if you like what you heard, please share us with everyone in your life. Please also rate and review. That helps our growth, which you can do at either Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And we're on every one of your favorite podcast apps. So make sure you hit follow, subscribe on your favorite app so you don't miss a single episode. You can connect with us by going to either Facebook or Instagram at Reality Times 2. You can also go to Twitter, TikTok, Reddit at Reality Times 2 Pod. And you can email us by going to realitytimes2 at hotmail.com. Don't forget we have our website, which is at solo.to/reality times 2. And also, don't forget I have my other podcast with my friend Mikkel called the Next Take Podcast, where we talk about, well, just about everything over there. We're on every one of your favorite podcast apps over there as well. But you can get access to any links, any socials, anything like that by going to our website, which is solo.to/next take podcast. And you also can go to YouTube, which is Next Take Podcast as well. But of course, all of these links will be in the show notes. But that is it for now, guys. Thanks. Bye.